Hi everyone, welcome back to Astro Digital Technologies YouTube channel, your go-to channel for all things analytics. I am Hezekiah Omayemi, and today we are diving into one of the most exciting and powerful features in Microsoft Excel, the Lambda function. Before we get started, here is something important to note. The Lambda function is only available in Excel 365 and Excel 2021. If you are using an version of Excel, you won't have access to this feature. But if you do have Excel 365 or 2021, buckle up because this function is going to completely transform how you work with formulas. Before we dive in, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel to support us and stay updated on more analytics tutorials. Also, to follow along or practice what we will cover today, you can download the exact Excel file I used in this video from the link in the description box below. Let's get started. What is a Lambda function? The Lambda function was introduced to let you define custom functions directly in the workbook without VBA or macro knowledge. Think of it as a way to create reusable, user-defined functions with zero coding knowledge. Here is the syntax, the Lambda function, and it takes two or more argument, which is the parameter and the calculation. The parameter, these are the variables your formula will use, while the calculation is the formula or logic that uses those parameters. Once you create a Lambda function, you can save it as a named formula and reuse it throughout your workbook just like any built-in Excel function. Without further ado, let's jump straight into Microsoft Excel. Let's see how you can create your first Lambda function. Let's start with a simple example, calculating the square of a number. To do this, in a cell, type lambda equal lambda. It is asking for the parameter or calculation. X, give it any variable, x raised to power 2, close the parenthesis. So this is our function. X represents any variable. Then the calculation with that variable x raised to power 2 is going to square whatever x is. To test it, I'm going to put any number here, say 6, and close the parenthesis. Now, press enter. This returns 36 as 6 squared is 36. But when you are defining your Lambda function, you must make sure you create the function before running it. For instance, if I should run this, it returns calculation error because there is no words. Excel does not recognize our variable. So to make it reusable, I'm going to copy this, Control X to copy, come to your Formulas tab, under the named manager, come to New. Now, the new dialog box, we are going to give it a name. Make sure you give it a name that reflects what the function you are creating is meant to do. For our case, we are going to call it square. This is going to be the name because we want to square any number. This is used to square any number taking a variable x, right? This is what you're going to do. In the refers to, this is where you are going to paste the function we created the other time. Here, press OK. Before you press OK, notice that we have scope. Scope is telling you how do you want to make use of this function you are creating. You can either use it in the workbook or in a particular worksheet depending on your preference. I can limit it just to this sheet 1. Press OK. So close this. To test it, we say square, right? Which is saying what? This is used to square any number taking a variable x. Square what is going to be your value x. It can be any number, say 7, close the parentheses and press enter. Now you can even reference any cell by saying square, press square, and whatever number you put here, press enter, then put your number here, and here we go. You've just created your first Lambda function. Now that you have created your first Lambda function, let's take it further with a real world case studies. In our first case study, we are going to create a dynamic discount calculator. Here in the worksheet, I have price and discount rate. Let's say you run an e-commerce store and often calculate discounts for customers. Instead of writing the same formula over and over again, you can simplify your workflow by creating a reusable Lambda function. Let's see how to do it. Now, what we are going to do is to first construct our Lambda function by defining the function, the Lambda, the price, then the discount. Since we are calculating for discounted price, then we say price. Okay, we multiply this by what? Open the parentheses by subtracting 1 from the what? Discounts, right? From the discount, close the first parenthesis and the second parenthesis. Let us copy this. Come to your file, to your formulas tab under name manager, open the name manager, new, give it a name. For this case, we are going to give it discount price is going to be our name since that is what we are doing. The rule of thumb says that when you are creating your function, your Lambda function, make sure you give it a name that resonates what the function is meant to do, right? Let us paste the function we have created, we've defined earlier here. Let us give it a comment as well for clarity. We say calculate the discounted price based on the original price and discount percentage. Alright, percentage. Press OK. We have just created the discount price function. Close. Let's see this in action. Equals discount price, the discount price that we just created, the price which is our original price, then the second argument is going to be the discount rate which is 6% here. Press enter. Now you see we just created our discount calculator. Alright, this is how you can create a reusable functions using Lambda function in Excel. Let us move to case study 2. Let's see how you can use Lambda function to clean up a messy data. For messy data like names with extra spaces such as this or inconsistent capitalization, you can create a Lambda function for cleanup. I'm going to create this Lambda function, but before the introduction of Lambda function, if we are to clean this before now, how do we do this? We can nest two text manipulation function called the proper and the trim function to take care of this. What the proper function is, it is used to capitalize each word. I will say proper, then I will say trim. This trim is used to remove all unwanted spaces from a text string. Then it's going to be the name, close the parenthesis and the second parenthesis and press enter. This is what we would have done before the introduction of Lambda function. To use the Lambda function, I'm going to create the function by saying equal the Lambda, what is going to be our parameter or calculation. The parameter now is going to be the name. Then what is going to be our second parameter? We will say the proper function. I'm going to nest it with the trim function. The trim function, then the name here, close the parenthesis. Let us copy this to create the function, Control X. And then when you come here, you come to named range, new, call it clean name, clean name. In the clean name here, this is where you're going to paste the function we just created and press OK. Close this. Let us test. We are going to say clean name and the name is this. Press enter, flash fill, and that is how repeatedly you can use this function. All right, in our third case study, we are going to be using a Lambda function to calculate monthly loan payment. What we want to do here is we want to calculate monthly loan payment across multiple rows using Lambda with the PMT function. Before now, if we are to do this, for those of you using the older version of Excel, you will have to use a upper column. And if I'm to do this in the older version of Excel, I'm going to use the PMT function equal minus PMT, which is used to calculate the payment for a loan based on constant payment and a constant interest rate. Then what is going to be my annual interest rate? My annual interest rate will be this. Then what is going to be the total month? But before this, since we are calculating annual, I'm going to divide it by 12, right? Comma, then what is going to be our total number of months? Our total number of months is loan term month here, right? In this case, it is 69. And the next thing is going to be our loan amount, which is our principal. So this is going to be this. This is the principal. Press enter. So this is what those of you using the older version of Excel can do. But the drawback of this approach is that you would have to rewrite the formula or copy paste it across rows whenever needed. Something like this. We have to copy paste like this. You will still need to retype the formula, or you use VBA to create this function, or using named ranges. Let's see how we can do this using Lambda function. For me to use the Lambda function, I'm going to get rid of this and let us construct the formula. The lambda, what is going to be our parameter or calculation now? Our parameter is going to be the rate, that is the rate, the total number of loan terms, which is going to be NPAR, which returns the number of periods for an investment based on periodic constant payment and the constant interest rate. That is going to be this. Then it is going to be the PV, which is our principal, so which returns the present value of an investment, the total amount that a series of future payments is worth now. That After doing this, we say comma, then the next parameter is going to be our PMT, which is used to calculate the payment for a loan based on constant payment. After this, we will open a parenthesis. As you can see already, we started constructing the lambda function. Then what is going to be the calculation? The calculation is going to be the rate divided by the period, which is going to be 12, right? Then what is going to be the next calculation? We have to give it our number of month. We say the NPR here, the NPR, and then our principal amount, PV. Close the parenthesis. Let us copy this, Control X. Have I copied? Let me see if I copied. Oh, sugar. Let us do that again. I'm going to say equals, let's do that again, equal lambda, then our rates, the number of term, the principal, then the PMT, open the parenthesis, the rate divided by the loan term, MPER, and the principal. Let us copy this right away, Control X. Come to your name manager here, new, then let us give it a name. We call it loan payment. The rule of thumb is that you should give your lambda function a name that translates what it is meant to do. Okay, let us get rid of this in our refers to, paste the function here, press OK. As you can see, we've created it, close. Let us test this now. To test this, we are going to say loan payment, the loan payment, what is going to be our principal will be the rate is this, the loan term, and our loan amount, which is the principal value. Press enter, then you can flash fill. You can flash fill this. You can use lambda function to create a loan payment calculator. We want to reuse the logic elsewhere. So why is lambda such a game changer? It eliminates repetitive formulas, reduces errors, and makes your spreadsheet cleaner and more professional. Best of all, you don't need to switch to a VBA or complex macros for reusable logic. It's all done within Excel. But remember, this feature is available only in Excel 365 and Excel 2021. If you are using an older version, it might be time to consider upgrading to unlock these advanced capabilities. That's it for today. If you want to follow along or practice what we covered, you will find the exact Excel file I used in this video linked in the description box below. Also, if you missed our last tutorial, Mastering XLOOKUP with Multiple Criteria, be sure to check it out. It is packed with tips to level up your Excel skills using the link at the right hand corner. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Astro Digital Technologies YouTube channel for more analytics tips and tricks. Got questions or creative ways you have used Lambda? Drop them in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Until next time, keep analyzing and optimizing. See you in the next video.